Hello, you sexy people. We're back again with another r/Reddit thing. Ask Reddit. Scary scientific discoveries the public is unaware of. Let's go, y'all. Let's be afraid.
What are some scary scientific discoveries
Be
that most
afraid.
of the public is unaware of?
Ooh.
The night sky is just an illusion. When you look up at a star, that star might be 80
Oh
million
yeah,
light
you see a
years away,
picture of the past.
meaning the light from that star took 80 million years to reach Earth,
Yep.
which means you're looking at a star that is from 80 million years ago and isn't actually there today, which means the night sky
Yes,
is a
sir.
night sky from millions of years ago. What would the sky look like today? There is a theory that if we can invent something to go faster than the speed of light millions of light years away in a few days, weeks or months, you'd be able to look back at Earth and see dinosaurs walking the planet.
What?
Time travel is real, we just don't have the advanced technology to do it.
Wait, what? Wait, if
The
we go
world has 70% less insects on average than it did 40 years ago. We really are coming up on our silent
less
spring.
insects.
For the people saying there are less pests, those aren't the ones we're worried about. Insect pollinators are vital to so
Yeah.
many crops. We could be facing serious problems with certain food supplies
I mean, the way stuff is developing, is it really gonna be a problem?
soon.
I don't know.
In recent
Guess we'll
years,
see.
China has had issues with apple and pear crops to the point where some regions have had to pollinate crops by hand. Also, insects
do you
form lower
pollinate by
blocks of
hand?
many food webs, and their disappearance will spell through for higher trophic
Through
levels.
the foot.
An asteroid impact crater was recently discovered in Greenland last year, November 2018, due to melting ice caps in the area. This
Okay.
crater could be as recent as 12,000 years ago, and if that's true, it completely
Recent.
changes our understanding of 1. How frequently mass extinction events happen, and 2. The history of human civilization.
Huh?
All of a sudden, global flood myths, ancient landmarks, pyramids, sphinx, and other mysteries line up with a global population getting wiped out and thousands of years of rebuilding or lost knowledge.
I got goosebumps for some reason.
A
Why
genetically
did I get
modified
goosebumps?
bacteria that could have possibly wiped out a lot of crops and plant life was almost commercially released into the environment. Fortunately, a researcher
What does commercially released mean?
decided to do one more test in the lab before it was used in production. Found out it killed all the wheat seedlings, and she destroyed the remaining stock of it. Google the gene-altered monster that
I
almost got away.
I
we
don't
really
want
don't
to.
know what the hell we are doing with some of these GMO ideas.
Hey, I'm not surprised. I recently watched that Mr. Bana video of the dude taking what was it? Radioactive water as medicine, and it was like 78 years ago, and people thought that shit was good. That was 8 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It was a lifetime ago, but it's not that long ago. Imagine what kind of weird shit we're taking as poison currently that we think is actually healthy for us.
Major solar coronal
Think
mass
about it.
ejection apocalypse. The thinking goes that the big one, when it hits, about once every 500 years,
Ejection.
if not sooner, would be powerful enough to knock out electrical and communication systems across Earth for days, months,
Yes.
or even years.
Bro,
Nixon
hey,
power grid.
I need to get my Genshin Impact dailies, bro. Come on.
Satellites, GPS, the internet, telephones, transportation systems, banking, you name it.
I'm already poor. I
think
don't care
the biggest
about
factor
banking.
here would be the fact that nobody would know what happened.
Sure.
The most relevant recent incident was the
Cool.
Carrington event of 1859.
1859.
The
So we have like
analog world of the
400
time
years,
remarked
300.
that some telegraph operators were continuing to send and receive messages after disconnecting the device's power supplies. Today, the disruption would be catastrophic in highly unpredictable ways. Like, for example, what would the results of a toxin pulse into the world environment be like after a billion small electrical fires ignite tons of plastic and solder? The total breakdown of the delivery network would instantly start the 6 weeks to starvation countdown. And then there's the unfortunate fact that the vast majority of people in my country, at least, have no survival skills whatsoever. And the first thing they'll do for answers is reach for their non-functional phones. Wall Martians will be barbecuing their neighbors within the week. You watch.
What the hell? Hey, I mean, I'm not that afraid about that in Bulgaria. We still, pretty much okay, I shouldn't say everyone, but most people in smaller towns in Bulgaria look after their own crops, like tomatoes and stuff like that. So it won't be that bad, but it'll still be kind of fucked.
The star Betelgeuse and Orion may be about to go
Betelgeuse?
supernova. We've known it's going to go supernova soon. That's astronomy soon, as in could be tomorrow or in 200 years. Betelgeuse is a variable star, so it gets brighter or dimmer all the time, but it just got dimmer than we've ever seen it before. No one knows 100% what's going on. If Betelgeuse does go supernova, All of our satellites and stuff will be fine. The
Oh,
solar wind
okay.
will protect us. The main problem is, we will have no night for a while, maybe weeks.
No night?
So it'll really throw animals off.
Wait,
The
that would be
Cascadia
weird as hell.
subduction zone is overdue for an adjustment that will cause an earthquake so catastrophic that
Cascadia
FEMA considers everything west of the I-5 total loss and only has plans to help those to the east of the interstate. When the next very big earthquake hits the northwest edge of the continent, from California to Canada and the
it's
continental
American
shelf
stuff.
to the Cascades, will drop by as much as 6 feet and rebound 30 to 100 feet to the west, losing, within minutes, all the elevation and compression it has gained over centuries. Some of that shift will take place beneath the ocean, displacing a colossal quantity of seawater. Watch what your fingertips do when you flatten your hand. The water will surge upward into a huge hill, then promptly collapse. One side will rush west, toward Japan. The other side will rush east, in a 700
Y'all bombing them again? Different way?
mile liquid wall that will reach the
Jeez.
northwest coast, on average, 15 minutes after the earthquake begins. By the time the shaking has ceased and the tsunami has receded, the region will be unrecognizable. Kenneth Murphy, who directs FEMA's Region X, the division responsible for Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Alaska, says, "Our operating assumption is that everything west of Interstate 5 will be toast."
Bro, I don't want to hear. You're supposed to save the people. Hey, if that's the dude that's responsible for the whole parish, you say, hey, y'all are fucked. I mean, that's not a thing you want to hear.
False memories.
Neuroscience.
Our memory is actually super unreliable.
Oh, shit.
Within an experience.
Oh, here we go. Oh, God, here we go. It's all a simulation. Hey, slap yourself 3 times currently if you want to exit the simulation. Do it.
It's frighteningly common
Don't
for a
do it.
participant
Stop.
to really, truly believe they remember or experience something
YouTube.
that we know for sure didn't happen.
Fuck, man. They keep doing this.
Not
Hey,
only
YouTube keeps doing this.
But we also still don't know exactly how memories are encoded, how our brain decides which to keep and which to give away, and why we can remember some things vividly and some not at all.
Yeah, I can't remember names at all.
We also don't know if every memory is stored separately, or if different memories converge for you to be able to understand patterns. If you formed a new memory for a soccer ball every time you saw a soccer ball, you wouldn't be able to recognize what a soccer ball is, for example. Either way, different memories can influence each other greatly, causing even your most vivid memories to be potentially false. For all we know, your mental image of, say, your 7th birthday party could be completely fabricated by your own brain, and you don't have any way of knowing.
It's not. Hey, that's not that scary. I mean, yeah, that's obvious. If your view of a certain memory is gonna change with your growing, right? As much as your personality changes, your view on a certain memory will change. That's normal, I think, right?
General
I
intelligence,
think that's scary.
AGI. In other words, a digital computer that is superhuman in all cognitive tasks. Humans are imbued by evolution with a sort of general learning algorithm. But it's running in a very slow, biological computer, with low input/output speed, talking, tapping thumbs, reading etc. Once we can implant that algorithm in silicon, a computer chip, there's a good chance it'll be superhuman.
Oh, here we go. Terminator.
Sort of on the level of intelligence gap you might feel between you and a mosquito. At that point, it doesn't even have to be malicious to destroy all of humanity. As Max Tegmark has put it, the real risk with artificial general intelligence isn't malice but competence.
Competence, yeah. We don't want that.
A super-intelligent AI will be extremely good at accomplishing its goals, and if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we're in trouble. The implications of this would be all-encompassing. It would change the whole game.
It's not a game,
and
bro.
many top experts believe it could happen within the next 10 years.
10 fucking years. Hey, bro, the only robots I want invented in the next 10 years are sex bots. Nothing else matters. I don't want a robot to cook. I don't want a robot to do my groceries. All I want for a robot is to step on my dick.
Use of antibiotics has led to superbugs that are antibiotic resistant. At the same time, the diversity of microbes within the human has drastically decreased in first world countries. This leads to a correlated rise in allergies and gastrointestinal diseases. As we use more antibiotics and antibacterial/viral products, then biodiversity of microbes decrease, and superbugs have a much easier pathway of invading the body.
Yeah.
With a very biodiverse microbiome, your resident microbes will try to fight off these infections much easier. We need to focus on helping bacteria, not killing all of it.
That's true.
I'm from Malaga.
That's why sometimes you see people in like third world countries that are more resistant to shit.
Spain. It's not a terribly seismic active place. However, Every 100 years
Malaga?
or so there's kind of a big earthquake according to historical records. We didn't have it so far, although it'd be about time. During the last 100 years we've been building taller buildings than ever, but the law requirements for buildings weren't up to date in order to resist that sort of big earthquake. Basically there's a huge batch of buildings waiting to collapse under this earthquake, and the issue is mostly ignored. It's one of those low-risk scenarios with a huge bill to fix them associated to them. Fortunately, new buildings are supposed to be prepared for anything you throw at them. When we look deeper and deeper into the universe, dark matter, quantum mechanics, and unified field theory,
yeah, things we normally look deeply into.
We always come up with the same answer. We can't go faster than this. There is a hidden wall. The universe, for lack of a better explanation, has a frame rate, like FPS in a video game.
I understand.
You travel faster than that, the universe can no longer record you. You cease to exist on the film strip of this reality. After further investigation into this phenomenon, it gets creepier. That this frame rate is an exact multiple of a hidden frequency in the background radiation of the universe. You know something else that works like this? Computers. Our frame rate may actually be a clock rate. More and more evidence that we are in a simulation, and the reason we will never have all of the answers is because the system is designed to protect itself from this.
Stop. Hey bro, stop.
Many people may be
stop with the simulation shit, please. Too real.
Carriers for mad cow disease and won't know for another decade or so. Mad cow disease from the 1980s was due to cows being fed the remains of other animals. People then ate their beef and consumed prions, a protein that can destroy the human brain. It's thought that many people still might carry prions but won't know until they start experiencing the symptoms of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease or bovine spongiform encephalopathy, which might be 10 to 50 years after consuming the contaminated meat. It has a long incubation period. You can also contract the prions from blood transfusions, which is why so many UK citizens from that time period still aren't allowed to donate blood. Once the symptoms begin, cognitive impairment, memory loss, hallucinations, etc., you usually die within months. There is no cure or treatment.
No cure, you don't want to hear that.
The power grid is bound to fail sometime in the near future. Many could go without electricity and cell phone signal.
Why?
Due to population increasing and the technology of the power grid remaining the same, if anything were to break, go wrong, or to be hacked, thousands, possibly entire continents would be screwed.
Wait.
It could be
the power grid remain. Don't they change that all the time, like renovation stuff?
Fixed within hours or days or take years. It all depends. I recommend solar power, manpower, and backup batteries.
Yeah, a lot of countries are trying to get into the
Climate
solar
change
power
is much
thing.
worse than many projections,
Even
and we've hit
Bulgaria.
the point where runaway feedback loops have become a real possibility. Many of them have not been sufficiently studied to rule out a truly catastrophic positive feedback loop of warming. The two big ones are methane release from permafrost or methane hydrates in the ocean. As the permafrost melts, there are billions of tons of organic matter which will begin to rot and release methane. In the same way, huge amounts of methane are trapped in very cold, deep waters as essentially an ice complex with water. Methane is a very effective greenhouse gas, and the increasing temperatures will liberate more methane as the temperature climbs. Oceanic carbon dioxide being liberated by increasing temperatures. Cold water holds more gases. The ocean has been soaking up most, like 40%, of the carbon emissions, which is what causes acidification, the carboxylic acid from absorbed CO2. Well, as the temperature of the ocean gets higher, the ability of the ocean to uptake CO2 will decrease. Eventually the oceans could release CO2 instead of acting as a sink. This would then cause warming, which could release more CO2. Now, there is research that points out that this will probably not happen if we can keep warming to 2 degrees Celsius, but we're not on track to keep warming to that level. Our immune system is very amazing.
Yo, this whole fucking video has been shit.
Amazing at what it does, but it is also super dangerous. B cells and T cells have the potential of being very self-reactive. They can slip past cells that are supposed to kill self-reactive immune cells, and they can cause autoimmunity. To help combat autoimmunity in super important parts of the body, eyes, genitalia, brain, etc., then these areas become immune privileged. Basically, immune cells can't go in those areas at all. One of the most terrifying things is infections using those immune privileged sites to their advantage. In Ebola survivors, the virus can hide in those sites and reinfect the patient later on.
Wait, what?
In one case, Ebola was in the eye of a survivor and caused his eye to change color. In other cases, Ebola was
Became an
transferred as an
anime guy.
STD because it was hiding in the genitalia of a survivor who transferred to their sexual partner.
Damn, Ebola's
The
kid.
Higgs boson, which was hypothesized decades ago, was discovered via the Large Hadron Collider. Its real-life discovery proved that it's what gives mass to everything. But there is a non-zero chance that a Higgs boson can drop to a lower energy state. And because of the law of entropy,
I gotta be completely. I did not understand a word of that thing. I did not understand a word of this.
it's the preferred state to decay to a lower energy state if possible. The influence of a low energy state boson would kick off a chain reaction causing other Higgs bosons to drop to a lower energy state.
I don't know what the Higgs boson
The
is.
problem with this is that if a Higgs boson drops to a lower energy state, then it can't give mass to things anymore. Which has universal implications when mass doesn't have mass anymore. It's theorized that the infinitesimal small probability of this occurring could lead to a circumstance where the universe as we know it disappears. Essentially it would occur like an absolute void progressing through the universe.
Bro,
Low energy
that's not a threat though. We'll just reset the simulation, brother.
state
It's
Higgs
okay.
bosons infecting any other Higgs boson they come across.
Windows update.
Maybe the closest thing to a Thanos snap, but it
Thanos
causes
snap.
everything to disappear
Not
in the
half.
universe, but only at the speed of light rather than instantaneously.
Only. Only.
Thanks for listening to Radio TTS. Hit the
Jesus Christ, that was okay. Well, fuck it, we'll subscribe. There might be some cool stuff. Okay. Well, I'm kind of curious actually. What do you guys think about the whole simulation thing? Do you? I swear to God, I'm not really. I don't believe in most of these stuff, but out of all these crazy theories and stuff, the simulation one could actually be kind of true though, right? Because there's always events that you're like, oh, I feel like deja vu and stuff like that. There's always like, oh, it's kind of weird. That's weird. This is weird. Everything's fucking weird at some point. And you're like, oh shit, that's a lot of weird stuff consecutively. That's too much weirdness. Can this shit be real? I don't know. I'm curious to hear what y'all think about this. If you want to see more Reddit videos, check out the playlist right here. Quick thank you to the YouTubers and Patreons. Thank you all for the support and have a nice day, everybody. Bye.